Hello and welcome to Ani's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Enigma of the Tilted Telescope. Chapter 1: The Mysterious Death. On a crisp autumn evening, Holly Arnold's phone buzzed with the kind of news that stops your heart for a beat. Dr. Edgar Winslow, her mentor, her friend, the man who taught her to read the stars like a book, was dead. Found in his observatory, slumped over his desk, a single gunshot wound to his temple. The police called it suicide. Holly didn't buy it. Not for a second. Dr. Winslow had been a spark of life, a man who lived for the vastness above, not someone who'd snuff out his own light. She grabbed her coat, her mind already churning with questions, and headed to the hilltop observatory overlooking the sleepy town of Crestwood. The observatory door creaked open. Silence hit her like a wall. No hum of machinery, no rustle of papers, just stillness. Moonlight spilled through the domed roof, glinting off the telescope. It was tilted wrong. Not aimed at the heavens, where Dr. Winslow's heart always lay, but downward, toward the town. Holly stepped closer, her boots tapping softly on the wooden floor. She peered through the eyepiece. No constellations greeted her. Instead, the lens framed the Blackwood mansion, its Gothic silhouette stuck against the night. A single window glowed faintly. Why there? What had he seen? Chapter 2: The First Clue. Holly rifled through Dr. Winslow's desk, her fingers brushing over star charts and scribbled equations. His observation log lay open, the last entry dated the night before. Unexpected discovery, it read, followed by cryptic. The rest was blank, as if he'd been interrupted mid-thought. His laptop, usually glued to his side, was gone. Someone had been here. Someone who didn't want his secret spilling out. She returned to the telescope, adjusting it slightly. The view sharpened. Beyond the mansion, in its sprawling garden, stood a lone oak tree, gnarled and ancient. Something about it tugged at her memory. Dr. Winslow had once pointed it out during a lesson, calling it a sentinel of the past. A hunch prickled her spine. She needed to get closer. That night, Holly slipped through the shadows toward the Blackwood estate. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. She scaled a low spot in the iron fence, landing silently on the other side. The oak loomed ahead. At its base, a hollow yawned. She knelt, reached in, and pulled out a small metal box. Inside, a USB drive and a note in Dr. Winslow's shaky hand. For Holly. Her pulse quickened. He'd known danger was coming. Chapter 3: The Hidden Truth. Back in her cluttered apartment, Holly plugged the USB into her laptop. Files loaded, photographs and audio clipped documents. One photo showed 3 men in the mansion's study, briefcases open, stacks of cash visible. Another captured a grainy image of a crate labeled hazardous materials. The audio was worse. Mr. Reginald Blackwood's smooth voice, unmistakable in Crestwood, discussing a shipment. And no loose ends. A second voice agreed. Holly's stomach twisted. Dr. Winslow had seen this through the telescope, seen too much. She remembered his rants about the observatory's fate. Mr. Blackwood, a wealthy businessman with a shady grip on the town, had been pushing to buy the land for a resort. Dr. Winslow had fought it tooth and nail. Had he turned the telescope on the mansion to find leverage? To expose Blackwood's crimes and save his sanctuary? It fit. Too well. But the local police wouldn't touch this. Blackwood's money kept them leashed. She called Sergeant Mike Donovan instead, an old-school cop, grizzled and honest, who'd known her since she was a kid chasing fireflies. They met at a diner beyond town limits. She slid the USB across the table. Mike's jaw tightened as he listened to the audio. "Ooh, this is big, kid." Chapter 4: Into the Fire. Holly couldn't wait. She staked out the mansion the next night, crouched behind a hedge. Shadows moved inside, the men loading crates into a truck. She snapped photos with her phone, but a twig snapped underfoot. A flashlight beam swung her way. Who's there? She bolted, legs pumping, as footsteps pounded behind her. A gunshot cracked the air, splintering a tree trunk inches from her head. She dove into a ditch, holding her breath until the pursuit faded. Close. Too close. Mike dug into police records off the books. The shipment was due tomorrow, smuggled goods, likely drugs or weapons, arriving at the docks. If we catch them in the act, we've got them. Holly nodded, adrenaline still buzzing. They had one shot. Chapter 5: The Reckoning. The dock smelled of salt and oil. Holly and Mike hid behind rusted shipping containers, the night cloaking them. A boat glided in, silent as a ghost. Blackwood emerged, flanked by his men. Crates were unloaded, stamped with the same markings from the photo. Holly's camera clicked, capturing every move. Then, a surprise, Blackwood's right-hand man, Victor Slade, barked orders. Not Blackwood. Slade's voice matched the audio's second speaker. She whispered to Mike, "It's Slade. He's the trigger man." Mike radioed the state police, untainted by Blackwood's influence. As the deal wrapped up, sirens wailed. Chaos erupted. Slade drew a gun, but troopers swarmed in, cuffing him mid-aim. Blackwood's empire crumbled in minutes. Later, Slade confessed. Dr. Winslow had spotted the operation through the telescope. Threatened to talk. Slade silenced him, staging the suicide. Blackwood had covered it up, thinking his money would bury the truth. Holly stood in the observatory days later, the telescope now aimed at the stars. She traced Orion's belt through the lens, a tear slipping down her cheek. "You saved it, Dr. Winslow." The observatory would stand. His legacy would shine, and she'd make damn sure of it. The end. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.